Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tesla stock today is down about 2%, which, a lot of big tech stocks not doing great. Nvidia is down about 1.5%. Some of your other names are green, though, like Meta is up 0.4%, Amazon up 1%, Google's up 2%, Microsoft up 1/3%. So Tesla is definitely underperforming. Now, what's going on? We'll talk about it in this video. We actually have a lot of news to go over as well. Tesla specific, we will look at the option activity, what the short sellers are doing as per usual. We will also take a look at all of the market moving headlines today and try to explain what is happening to Tesla. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Check out that link down below in the description of this video for the trading community, where we are going out and finding smaller cap AI companies before Wall Street does. Now, they don't have to be small caps, but we're looking for outsized returns, okay? We want to find the 10Xers. And where you do that is typically in smaller companies that are less known, less followed by Wall Street, don't really have investor backings, okay? Those are where a lot of the opportunities are. If you can spot them, if you can be early to them. In fact, the stock that I have $100,000 invested in, one single stock, is up 20% today. Yeah, it's getting pretty insane. Check it out, link down below in the description of this video if you would like to. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not a recommendation. This is not your get-rich-quick scheme, okay? We are doing real work over there, real due diligence. And it's important for you to come to your own conclusions. And keep in mind, like, I'm documenting what I'm doing. You do not follow that. You will lose money if you follow that, okay? I have a different risk tolerance and different, financial situation than you do, vice versa, okay? So read the disclaimers, come to your own conclusions. Do not take it as financial advice, because it is not financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But with that said, let's get into today's episode. Now, Tesla's diner was serving over 2,000 customers a day when it first opened. That's an average of one customer every 43 seconds. Tesla Diner's chef Greenspan says, "I've never experienced anything remotely close to this madness. I was working 20 hours a day for the first 2 weeks." Eric says things have since stabilized at the diner. It's still extremely busy on weekends, but the hype has died down a bit. And Greenspan estimates that guest counts are down 15 to 20% from the peak. Greenspan has improved ticket times by honing in on his most popular dishes, cutting items that were slowing down the kitchen, and not serving his breakfast menu all day. So, again, this is normal when you open restaurants, right? It's going to be really busy at first. Things kind of slow down and normalize. And you're in that process now. But it looks like a huge success so far. And this could drive more Tesla diners. How cool would that be? And Tesla is introducing some new menu items at their Hollywood diner this weekend. A vegetarian country fried porpatello mushroom sandwich for $13. Market salad for $10. Kale and arugula with pickled red onions, heirloom cherry tomatoes, pepitas, and gluten-free breadcrumbs with a side of green goddess dressing. Ludicrous milkshake, half matcha, half strawberry with a whipped coconut topping. I mean, honestly, maybe I'm just hungry, but all of this sounds great. And I'm like not a vegetarian. So yeah, maybe it's time for a protein shake or something. Now, Tesla is officially testing FSD in the Boring Company's Vegas Loop tunnel system. They say, quote, "We've started to test." Steve Hill, CEO of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. "No passengers have been in vehicles during the testing. In the future, the Boring Company will remove safety drivers from the front seat during testing," Hill said. "But there is no telling when that will take place, as it will depend on when Tesla and the Boring Company can demonstrate to the LVCVA that it is safe to do so." Hill said that the vehicles are currently being tested in self-driving mode inside the tunnels, experiencing the environment as they find spots that are difficult for them. The rock walls of the tunnels, Hill said, combined with the bright, colorful lights in the passageways, create some interesting but odd lighting for Tesla's self-driving system. The tunnels should make for a much easier environment for autonomous vehicles than the open roads of Austin, because in the tunnels, the Boring Company has complete control over what and who enters. Waymo says it now has 800 vehicles in the commercial operation across the Bay Area, up from 600 in May of 2025. Across the U.S., Waymo has deployed over 2,000 vehicles, up from 1,500 in May. 400 are in Phoenix and 500 are in Los Angeles. So again, you want to see Waymo successful. You want to see Waymo get into more cities. Okay, it's going to make it easier for Tesla. What ultimately will be the decisive factor in who will be the most successful, which we know will be Tesla, or at least strongly believe will be Tesla, is how fast can you scale? How safe is your product? And the fact of the matter is Tesla will be able to scale far faster than Waymo when you actually, get down to things. Like there is no penetration almost at all with autonomous vehicle ride-hailing services. Okay, the opportunity is very much ahead of us, and Tesla is going to dominate when it comes to scaling in different cities, not just the largest ones, but in all of them. And things are going to get really crazy for Tesla when Tesla can open up the Tesla Robotaxi platform for owner-operated Teslas. That's when the scaling could, could get ridiculous. Also in the news today, Tesla has officially announced that FSD Supervised is launching in Australia, marking a huge milestone for the company. The rollout will happen in stages. Hardware for Model 3s and Model Ys will get it first. Tesla says it is very close to being unlocked in customer cars. It will be available for purchase outright as a $10,100 option or through a subscription model. Tesla hasn't released the subscription price yet. Every new Tesla sold in Australia will come with a 30-day free trial of FSD Supervised for customers to try out on public roads. Now, this is important because it is the first country with right-hand driving that is getting FSDs. So it is a milestone for Tesla and for the software. And here you could see a new video of Tesla's FSD Supervised being used on public roads in Australia. This user says, quote, "That is a freaky sensation. That is better than probably 60% of the drivers on Australian roads." Okay, I'm impressed. This is going quite well. Now, in option activity today from hedge funds and institutions, you have 99 different trades totaling $110 million with a positive order value of 28%. So definitely a slower day as far as option activity for Tesla versus other days, less bullish than what we are typically used to seeing. Now, volume today is 57.64% calls, 42.36% put volume. Okay, so there is more calls than puts, which is again pretty typical for Tesla. Here today you have 32,000 shares that on net are being covered on. Okay, so a net positive covering, but there's only 97.4 thousand shares that are being borrowed or sold short, and 129,000 that are being returned. So we'll see what the final numbers look like later today, but it definitely just seems like a slower day for Tesla. Now, you do have 2.82% short interest of free float, $26.69 billion sold short in Tesla, totaling 76.34 million shares that are currently sold short. Shares out on loan at 14.54 million. So yeah, not too much of a change here, but short sellers have recently added a little bit to their positions. Short interest going from 2.64% to 2.82%. So honestly, there's really nothing that warrants Tesla stock being down 2%. Okay, there's no bad news to speak of. There's just no logical reason for this. Now, it could be maybe the Waymo news that they are expanding the robotaxi, their robotaxi fleet. I don't think that is it. Again, Wall Street doesn't really care about Tesla's robotaxi, so why would they care about the competition? Okay, it's just one of those days of digestion. Okay, just one of those days of simple price action. There's no rhyme or reason to what is happening today. Okay, we've had a lot of good news recently. Tesla stock has had a lot of really good days in a row. Okay, going up 6.22%, then going up 2%, then going up 1.5%. Okay, you're giving a little bit of that back, but you are firmly still in a technical breakout for Tesla, right? You're still looking very good, trending higher with explosive moves, within just really the last like 3 weeks, you've had two explosive moves where you get a consecutive, couple of days of outperformance. Okay, so just a little bit of a give back today, and don't be shocked when you get the next leg higher. I do think Nvidia earnings yesterday were really, really good, right? Really, really good. It green lights the AI trade. Okay, Nvidia basically said, yeah, demand better than ever. Okay, with their guidance coming in higher than expected, but also them excluding China revenue in their guidance estimates. If they included that, Nvidia would have smashed expectations for guidance. So Nvidia very much played it conservative. And I will mention Nvidia, only had like a $900 million beat on revenue. So Nvidia is to the point where, they don't even have to smash earnings anymore, and the stock doesn't get crushed. Like a year ago, if Nvidia would have only beat by $900 million, the stock would have fell a lot. Today, seems like more people are getting confident in the AI trade and the longevity of that. And I think that's obviously the correct way to look at it. Now let's get into some broader market news today. Nvidia has reported that a single customer accounted for 23% of its total quarterly revenue of $46.7 billion per Bloomberg. So, the demand is insatiable here. Okay, it's probably Elon, right? Let's be honest, XAI, that is buying all the chips that accounted for so much of Nvidia's revenue. But that's just one company. Imagine the kind of back ordering that you're seeing for Nvidia, products. It's really not a demand question at this point. It's a production question. How fast can production scale to meet demand, right? And if production continues to kind of lag behind demand, then you could have many, many more quarters of, blowout earnings from Nvidia. Now, Fed Cook's judge sets the hearing for Friday, okay, to see if she can stay in her job and discuss, the whole Trump firing her situation. Meta Zuckerberg met with Trump at the White House last week and lobbied Trump on digital taxes before the tariff threat. Intel's CFO says we have received the $5.7 billion in unpaid grants from the CHIPS Act, which is being converted into the U.S. government's stake. Morgan Stanley says AI could deliver $920 billion in yearly net benefits to S&P 500 firms with the long-term value creation of 13 to 16 trillion, about 25% of the current market. Now, Elon Musk has poached 14 Meta engineers. Meta offered millions for them to stay, but Elon offered purpose. It says here that Meta offers $250 million retention bonus, but Musk poaches 14 AI stars with purpose. Zuckerberg left stunned. EU's trade chief Sefcovic says the EU-US deal is a step towards stability and a basis for real cooperation on shared challenges like steel. Full implementation is key. The European Commission puts forward two proposals as part of the EU-US Trade Pact. The first act concerns a proposal to eliminate tariffs on U.S. industrial goods and provide preferential market access for a range of U.S. seafood and non-sensitive agriculture goods. European and the second one proposes to prolong the tariff-free treatment of lobster, now including processed lobster. The European Commission says these proposals are the first steps to ensure tariff relief by the U.S. for the vital EU automotive sector, starting retroactively from the 1st of August. It says here the EU presents a lower U.S. tariff proposal to unlock the 15% auto duty. And it says here the EU proposes tariff reductions to implement EU-US deal. The Russia-China draft UN text urges all parties in the Iran nuclear deal to immediately resume negotiations. Goldman Sachs says S&P 500 companies beat forecasts this earnings season with Q2 EPS up 11% versus 4% expected. So completely smashed earnings. About 60% beat estimates by wide margins, one of the strongest seasons on record. And the UN Security Council to meet Friday on France, Britain, Germany triggering process to reimpose sanctions on Iran. Trump on Chicago crime says stay tuned. White House says the removal for cause improves the Fed's accountability. White House says Lisa Cook credibly accused of lying. And the White House on Cook says Trump exercised his lawful authority. The White House says that Trump found there was cause to remove Fed Cook. Ukraine's President Zelensky says security guarantees to be set on paper next week. U.S. Special Envoy to Ukraine Kellogg says Russia attacks undermine Trump peace initiative. Trump says Republicans are poised to win big in midterms. And Trump mulls a national GOP convention before midterms. Ed Cook asked the U.S. judge to issue temporary order declaring Trump's firing effort unlawful and to bar the Fed from taking steps to remove her. Like, why do you want your job that bad? Trump pick Moran is on track for confirmation before the Fed meets in September. It says NVIDIA is in talks with the U.S. to sell AI chips to China and willing to give U.S. a cut of Blackwell China sales. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang tells me he's in talks with the Trump administration about selling his better Blackwell AI chip to China, and he's willing to give the U.S. government a cut of those sales. Plus, he wants U.S. tech to be like the U.S. dollar, the global standard. And 51% of Americans have made a purchase or investment due to financial FOMO. And following NVIDIA earnings, pretty much everyone raised price targets. JP Morgan raised theirs to 215 from 170. Rosenblatt raised theirs from 200 to 215. Benchmark raised theirs from 190 to 220. Bank of America Securities raised theirs from 220 to 235. Citi raised theirs from 170 to 215. Jefferies from 200 to 205. KeyBank from 215 to 230. D.A. Davison from 135 to 195, and Truist Securities raised their target from 210 to 228. So even though, again, NVIDIA was down today, NVIDIA is down about 1% at the time of recording this video, their earnings were very much seen as a positive. That's what I explained in the prior video. Like, people are freaking out over NVIDIA earnings. The stock was down like 3%, but in all reality, like, it was a fantastic earnings. Like, almost as good as it possibly could have been. Now, here on the day today, we did get the GDP growth rate quarter over quarter second estimate for Q2. We were expecting 3.1%. You came in at 3.3%, so that was better than expected. Corporate profits quarter over quarter preliminary numbers for Q2 came in up 2%. Estimate was up 1.8%, so that was better than expected as well. Initial jobless claims at 229,000 versus estimates of around 237,000, so that was a big beat as well. Real consumer spending up 1.6%, beating the estimate of 1.4%. Pending home sales month over month, negative 0.4%, worse than the expected negative 0.2%. Pending home sales year over year came in at positive 0.7%, better than the 0.4% estimate. So pretty much across the board today, better than expected economic data besides those home sales month over month. Kansas Fed Composite Index came in at 1. The estimate was 0, so that was better than expected. And the Kansas Fed Manufacturing Index came in at 0. The estimate was negative 4. So literally across the board, better than expected economic data today. And the odds of a rate cut September 17th did come down as a consequence a little bit from 84.9% to 82.9%. But it really depends what inflation looks like, right? Because you want to see the economy as strong as possible. Okay, as strong as possible, right? If we get strong economic data, it's going to bring down the odds of cuts at least a little bit until we know the inflation side. If inflation comes in red hot tomorrow, and we'll talk about that in the next video, then that is going to be a problem. If it comes in line, that's likely good enough. If it comes in better than expected, that's a massive green light for this market and for rate cuts. So let me know your thoughts again on all of this information down below in the comment section. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Check out that link down below in the description of this video for the trading community as well. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next episode.